CBS 2 photojournalist Brad Allen Johnson has all the sights and sounds.
The lakeside breeze, a sweet escape from the steamy pavement. Summertime in Chicago. The city is electric. Beneath it all runs a current of crime.
Stuck in a lot of traffic right now.
A flash, and these 5 men are caught up in it.
5, right?
Out of breath and out of options.
Bring your leg underneath.
They got zapped.
Hands out, hands out.
And that takes us to where our story begins. It's a technology you've heard a lot about. LPRs, license plate readers.
Be safe out there, all right?
Armed with bulletproof vests and some camera equipment, we suit up with Captain Dave Keltner on what feels like a 100-degree day for the chance to see them in action. If somebody gets a hit on a license plate reader, how do you know about it?
So if they've been entered into any of those software packages, then our officers will end up getting postings, just pictures, still frame stuff with locations.
Over the radio, we hear the reader detect something. A car, stolen, driving.
The Chrysler 300, you just cut over to lane 1.
A police plane uses the plate to spot the car. They tell us, the ground patrol, where to go.
Going under 35th right now.
The drivers ditch the first car for another, and we think we've lost them.
2 guys, they swapped cars. They were in 2 cars, and then they went now into a 3rd car.
Correct.
What we don't know at the time, it doesn't matter that the plate is different. LPRs don't need a plate to track the car at all.
It's not just plates. We can search. There's various avenues for us to search for different make models, anything else that are in the areas.
Soon police have the swapped car swamped, boxed in, cornered. It has nowhere else to go.
Without other resources, it makes it very difficult. But when we're able to utilize unmarked cars, we're able to utilize air support, we're able to use various cameras to be able to access some of that information. It makes it easier for us.
Over the years, Jamison has worked for an airline, went back to school and became a computer engineer, and currently works as a real estate appraiser. And all that time, he's come here to hone his musical skills.
How long do you practice?
I do about an hour on each instrument. So if I get here at 8:30, 9:30, 10, I'm usually out of here before 12.
That's 12 midnight. Here, where just a block away, a man was recently set on fire.
All of the security guys, they've always looked out for me.
Right.
You know,
the siren right there.
Right, yeah. Now this is Chicago, man, you know. I mean, this city is like, I hate to use slang, but it's not for punks.
At 68, Jamison still plays basketball and golf and his music. He says it keeps his mind challenged and sharp. As things bustle above on the Mag Mile in the dark of night, down below in the bowels of the city, it's more than just the sound that opens up. A man and his saxophone both embrace the grit and the grime, the unbridled freedom that comes with playing in front of a wide open city.
And I'm not looking that way. I'm looking at, I've got the moon, I've got the beautiful skyline, I've got the water. This is God. This is God.
There was a lot of poor decision making.
Margaret Frisbee.
Our lakes and rivers were used for whatever systems people needed.
Executive Director, Friends of the Chicago River.
93% of fish species have some sort of plastic inside them.
She's a passionate protector armed with a paddle on a stretch of the river.
When they were butchering cattle and pigs.
It was then a great open sewer, wrote Upton Sinclair. Here a man stands atop an animal park graveyard. Chicago, like most cities, industrialized its waterways, making this river a morgue of the meatpacking union stockyards. It's named Bubbly Creek, where animal waste still trapped in the river bottom.
It still bubbles.
Even today.
Even today.
Decades later.
Yep. There used to be sewage in the river every 3 days.
Just last year, downpours meant 2.6 billion gallons of storm water and sewage flowed directly into Lake Michigan. He wasn't just a man. His omnipresence enveloped Maryville. He turned the once money-hemorrhaging albatross of an orphanage into a gold standard.
I'm happy to serve the children.
Father Smith was celebrated by the venerated, the vulnerable, and adored with a larger-than-life 9-foot-tall statue.
And the children that come here really blossom.
Cars over there on the Hudson side. There's units that are heading that way. Keep the air clear for the unit requesting help.
This is the case and the chase that preoccupied the task force for much of the night. 4 teenagers, all armed with guns, had carjacked a vehicle north of Austin.
We're heading towards those lights. Okay. Somebody got him?
They might. Even getting to this point in the chase wasn't easy. Catching the suspects wouldn't be either. More on how it ended in a minute. For the Chicago Vehicle Hijacking Task Force, the night started with roll call at the Cook County Sheriff's Command Post in Austin.
Of course, safety is number one. Let's use the helicopter to our best advantage.
Let's have a good night, guys. Be safe.
Be safe. Parting words that echo on the first stop of the night. A car tracked by the task force crashed into a fence at 44th and Wells on the south side. Shots fired, 3 arrests, helicopters, and this find, 5 guns, including a fully automatic weapon.
But it's also a big deal because they're not accurate. So you're looking at 50 rounds coming down in seconds.
Look at all these resources.
Oh yeah, and the helicopters we have up and everything.
They know you're coming for them. And yet it continues.
Yes, and it will continue until we can get them quickly.
This is every night.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the numbers are the numbers, and they're horrible. For every one we get, there's more and more and more coming.
Dart says there is one thing that would be a game changer for the carjacking problem we see playing out on Chicago streets, and it falls on car manufacturers.
With tracking, we could bring this thing almost to an end.
Most cars since 2015 have tracking devices, but not all the companies cooperate with law enforcement when vehicles are stolen or carjacked. DART is supporting Illinois and federal laws that would require car manufacturers to staff a 24/7 tracking center.
I don't mind people saying she's a nut, because when I look at it objectively, that's all I see is craziness. I purposely remained a mystery because of the crazy factor. This makes it even crazier. You might want to reconsider everything.
Lena Anderson plays this tune over and over. Mom and Dad feel the same way, like a broken record.
Advocating for their 8-year-old.
You truly do feel like you're all alone.
How many of you have a child with special needs?
She's not alone.
If you're going to do fireworks illegally, which is kind of hard to stop, do it in a brownfield site where there are no people around it. This park is surrounded with homes, and we're certainly not where there's a nature preserve.
Klecki decided to poll his neighbors, and he heard from 531 of them. Half said they don't approve of the show, but 49% say they want to keep it as is. And you're about to hear from one of them.
At first glance, as you listen to the tall cornstalks rustle, things might look as they should down on the farm.
The weather's just been a struggle this entire year.
But underneath is where you get to the root of the problem.
Come on, Mother Nature, take a break.
Fields are damp and wet, and heavy rains are making it soggier by the day.
Saturday morning when I got up, we had 6.5 inches.
The land here on Dave Kissel's farm is too wet to even think about getting heavy equipment out and stuck in the mud. So the Manhattan farmer takes pictures of his flooded fields and hopes they dry as he sits and waits.
I feel like a caged bull. I want to go and I can't.
An unusually wet spring delayed the planting of Illinois corn by about 5 weeks this year. So what you're looking at right now isn't necessarily ready for harvest. When we have police squad cars set on fire, when we have windshields looking like this, we do realize that taxpayers, Chicagoans, people like you and me, born and raised in the city, will be paying for this. And that's something that people have to worry about as the night goes on. We'll just have to see if things die down as police try to get a control over this, Jim. That's right, Brad and Erica. We are heading east on Randolph, heading towards downtown. Behind me, I want to show you this group that has been out here for the majority of the night since around 8 o'clock. The night has been peaceful. However, this very small crowd, about 30 people or less, have made their presence very known.
All right, they've got some men in handcuffs right now. Brad, can you see them? They're making some arrests in Macy's. They've caught some of the looters. There's more than those two. I've seen at least 10 in there. Oh, stores like this have been taken advantage of all over the Loop. There's so much destruction right now here, folks.
Let me try to set the scene for you. Going to take a few steps. I'm standing here at 64th and Ashland. Anyone familiar with the neighborhood? This is the McDonald's. But we're going to walk a little bit towards our east here, down 64th Street. You can see this is where Chicago police have a very strong presence as they are investigating one of their own being shot.